state is the question of keeping the boys in physical condition during season and off season.
Well, if a boy takes football seriously, it is absolutely necessary that he keep in condition the year around.
Back in the day, many coaches were not against getting in condition, but they were leery of strength training. They thought it would bind up your muscles and make you tight, and you wouldn't be able to move, and now you can't run. So they were very limited, if indeed they did it at all.
Toronto for the Mr. Ontario contest. And that's quite a man of muscle.
My era was totally different. Neanderthal era. They didn't let you lift weights. We had no weight training. No way of making muscle bound. You lose your quickness. All these Neanderthal coaching attitudes. But there's a different time, different era. None of us can play today. Not a one of us. If you brought anybody in that looked like me, I'd fire their ass right there. I promise you.
In the late 60s, there were people lifting weights sporadically here and there across the country. And I lifted weights at a health club. And so I saw the benefits when I went to the University of Nebraska. The weight room was this small space, and the equipment they had was for injured athletes. I didn't realize it, but there were some injured football players lifting at the same time I was, and so I started helping them.
And Bobby Thompson is in the end zone, a touchdown.
Nebraska lost to Oklahoma the last game of the season on national television, 47-0. Then they were looking for anything that might help them. And that's when they noticed these injured players that I had been working with were actually stronger when they came back to practice. And so I got a call. We went in to see Bob Devaney. He said, well, Tom feels this is important, and so we're going to give this a try. But if anyone gets slower, you're fired. I became the first paid strength coach in the country.
Second and goal.
Touchdown, Nebraska.
Here comes Nebraska with Boyd Epley and his crew, and all of a sudden you're trying to move against these Cornhuskers, and you're not moving, but they're moving you. These strong, monstrous people coming at you, especially those offensive linemen. You couldn't name 5 other offensive linemen in the rest of the country, but you knew Nebraska's offensive line. They were rock stars.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Costas. Happy New Year to you. These are the trophies signifying an Orange Bowl victory and the national title, both at stake tonight.
During that game against Miami, it was the best example I've ever seen of a team that was trained correctly and that one that hadn't quite trained the right way what we believed in for football. They had more talent than we did. They went right down the field and scored.
Jones for the touchdown!
But by halftime, they were a little bit gassed.
We try to play physical football, and we're hoping that we'll continue to get stronger as the game goes along.
In the second half, Coach Osborne explained, these guys are going to come out. They're going to be hard to stop again because they'll be fully recovered.
Touchdown!
But in the fourth quarter, you're going to dominate. And that's exactly what happened.
We talked about the Miami defense getting tired. Now this Miami offense is getting overwhelmed.
In the fourth quarter, they went several series in a row without a first down. And we scored 2 touchdowns and beat them for the national championship.
Nebraska earns a national championship with a tough win over Miami in the Orange Bowl. Final score 24-17.
I thought in the fourth quarter we'd be the best team, and we were. That's great.
And that's what we're talking about around the country now. You got to be able to run with people, thump with people. Speed, yes, but the strength and conditioning coaches, what they're doing around the country and all the programs. Remember Urban Meyer saying that's the biggest hire you have as a head coach.
College football's totally changed from a strength and conditioning standpoint. Nebraska was on the cutting edge of hiring the first strength coach, but they were also on the cutting edge in the 90s of hiring the very first sports nutritionist, which has completely changed and evolved. Every single college campus in America is building a nutrition center, and they're building these unstoppable athletes, through science.
Back when I played, we didn't pay any attention to nutrition. We didn't pay any attention to the off-season training. Nowadays, players have all the resources available to make them bigger, stronger, faster, more efficient. Mentally and physically, everything's better.